All right, welcome, kings and queens. We are back and we are talking the continuation in the mind of a criminal by way of Ernesto Williams. If you have not seen my first video, I highly encourage you to check it out. That is part one. You guys, I completely went down a rabbit hole. Ooh, a real good one when it came down to the phone calls from prison, the tapes, the conversation between Ernesto Williams, Shirley Strawberry, one of his mistresses, I guess the main one, Sonia, his family, his friends, y'all. It is so much. So we are talking part two, the secrets of the criminal psyche. Okay. And part one, what I did is I broke it all down and I peeled back the layers of each individual one by one. The key players that I focused on were Ernesto Williams, Shirley Strawberry, the mistress Sonia, Erica King, and very, very briefly, Steve Harvey. In this commentary, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to focus on the dynamics of the relationships that they have with each other, and not necessarily each of them have a relationships with everyone that's involved, but there's connections, and I am going to talk about the connections. Are y'all ready? Let's get into it. For those of you who are just tuned in, or if you're new to the channel, welcome to the palace. I am Queen Sheba. I cover a variety of hot topics specific to reality television, but most importantly, I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Subscribe now.
All right, so when I did video one, I came in pretty direct, and I don't think I gave room for error, nor did I show a lot of grace. I'm very concerned for Shirley Strawberry. But at the same time, there are victims in all of this, victims that have been scammed out of millions and millions of dollars. And at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, this is nothing but prioritizing right over wrong. So when it comes to right versus wrong, I'm going to always choose right. And I don't care who's involved. So if that means that you have to, I give you a harsh review, it is what it is. But y'all, I got to really thinking about this. This is so twisted and messed up and could have been avoided. You get what I'm saying? And it makes me think about a lot of times how we create our own crazy, and we like to say, oh, the devil is busy. Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. Because sometimes our own selfish desires causes the walls of Jericho to come tumbling down. And if most of us sit back and really assess where we went wrong, we ain't had no business being in the places, dealing with the people or things that we've been dealing with or we had engaged with. And if it goes to that saying, like the old folks say, if I knew then what I know now. And I wonder, I can't help but to wonder, number one, if Shirley Strawberry has had a real deep talk with herself. I'm talking about a hardcore sister, me versus me in the mirror. And has she asked herself, girl, what the hell was you thinking? That's the first thing. The second thing, this mistress, I want to know, if you could do it all over again, would you do anything different? Or are you standing by your man that really ain't your man? So those are my thoughts. I'm not even worried about Ernesto because that is a personality disorder, in my opinion. Although I do not know if he's a narcissist, but it damn sure feels narcissistic to me. And when it comes to narcissistic personality traits, it's a disorder that requires intensive intervention. So that man ain't changing no time, anytime soon. It is what it is. But I would sure like to dig a little bit deeper in his past, outside of the criminal activities, to see what the hell has happened to him. I want to start with the dynamics between Shirley Strawberry and Steve Harvey. Based on some of the prison phone calls and her exchanges with her with her husband, because he's not her ex right now, and based on some of her exchanges with Ernesto and some of the things that she shared, that Steve shared with her, I am of belief that Steve really cares about her as a person, as a friend, and as someone he considers family. Now, This is outside of everybody's opinion of Steve, his dynamics with his ex-wives, the things that he allegedly did to his ex-wife, Mary, some of the things that y'all have left in the comments. I am talking about this specific situation. And you have to be able to pretty much leave all of that out and focus on the issue at hand. And the issue at hand are the dynamics between Shirley Strawberry and Steve based on these phone calls. And based on these phone calls, I feel like he did everything humanly possible, because she's still a grown ass woman that's almost 70 years old. Last year, when he gave her this advice, she was 68. And he nudged her, really encouraged her to distance herself from this man, and to really get away from this as quickly as possible before the shit hits the fan. And based on what the tone that I picked up from Shirley with her husband, Ernesto, she wasn't trying to hear none of that. She was going to stand by her man. And she didn't care, you guys, based on the calls, if she lost everything. And as a matter of fact, Ernesto encouraged her to take care of herself first, believe it or not. I don't know if it was call number 6, tape number 6, or tape number 7. He actually, in that moment, told her, take care of yourself, do what you got to do. He was trying to help. Even Ernesto was trying to help her. And I feel like in that moment, Ernesto was kind of nudging her to do that, not from the emotional standpoint, because he realized, well, hold on. Hell, she can't lose everything, because shit, I need some of this money. She's paying my lawyer fees. She got my trucks. She got this, she got that. And if she go down, I don't have a buffet. I don't have a financial buffet. I don't have my daily bread. So I need this woman to think rationally, objectively, and to get out of her damn feelings and protect her brand. Because by protecting her brand, that keeps money flowing in for me. And that's the reason I feel like Ernesto was like, yeah, listen to him. And she should have. But like most women do, we get in our feelings. And when we are not balanced and when we're not mature emotionally, we allow our emotions to overrule common sense. I believe Steve wanted to see Shirley come out of this unscathed. He wanted her to come out of this, just to come out of it, to prioritize her brand, her money, and she did none of that. And maybe she did later down the line, but in my opinion, it was a little bit too late. So that's the dynamics between Shirley and the dynamics between Steve Harvey, based on the commentary she shared in the playback of the tapes with Ernesto. Do y'all feel like Steve cared about her? Because I know a lot of y'all has some stuff to say in the comments. What are your thoughts? Oddly enough, this is about to blow your mind. You're going to be like, Queen Sheba, what the heck are you talking about? We got to talk about it. I want to talk about the mistress's relationship with Shirley, that Shirley did not know. She has a relationship with this mistress. And, when you think about the mind of a narcissist, I think the scientific term or the proper clinical term for it is called triangulation. And this is a connect the dots. This is a setup, a situation, an entanglement that Ernesto has created between the two women. Shirley, unknowingly, the mistress, one of the mistresses, Sonia, is a willing participant to be in relation, to be in this triangulation with Shirley. Now, I will say verbally, the mistress knows not to step out of line when it comes to how she refers to Shirley, and she somewhat shows respect to Shirley when she mentions Shirley, or directly or indirectly. And let me tell you why I say that, because we've seen the likes of Ariane Curry that can be extremely disrespectful. And I don't really know if there's such thing as a respectful mistress, because first of all, go get your own man. But the little bit of juice that we can squeeze out of this turnip, when the mistress, Sonia, does talk about Shirley, she does so in a respectful manner. Now, I don't know if she does that because she understands the game or if that's because the bylaws and the rules that he has placed, that he has put in place behind the scenes, right? Because she knows he's married. She's not disrespectful when she talks about Shirley, shady or conniving. So I noticed that part. Now, here's the thing about mistresses. Let me tell y'all this. Ain't nobody ever happy with being a mistress. For those of you that are tuned in, that may be somebody in the bushes, that's a man in the bushes. Listen, a woman that's a mistress is just laying in the cut. And eventually, when she gets tired of being hidden, she's going to apply that pressure. Mark my words. And this ain't no new information. This is just a friendly reminder, okay? She's going to apply the pressure. And typically when they apply the pressure, they apply it to the man first, second, and third. And when that has not rendered the results that she feels like she should be getting, then they start to passively apply pressure by revealing themselves to the wife, calling late, texting late. They start dropping little clues and hints. It's like the gingerbread man, right? When you leave telltale signs that I've been here. Maybe putting on a little bit of extra perfume, all of that. I said all of that to say a mistress ain't never cool with being a mistress. She always wants the number one spot on the roster. She always wants to take the wife's place. For anybody that's dumb enough to fool themselves or crazy or cuckoo enough to tell themselves she's cool sitting in the background, name me anybody, man or woman, that's cool being on the bench. Nobody's okay with being on the bench. Nobody's okay with being on the bench because we all want to know, what can I do to be in the starting lineup? Yeah, you can test that theory. But that's what I have on the dynamics of Sonia and Shirley. Let's move on. I want to briefly talk about the dynamics between Ernesto and Steve. Yeah, yes. I told y'all I'm about to break this down. Now, there may not be, okay, there are direct and indirect dynamics between Steve Harvey and Ernesto Williams, just by way of 6 degrees of separation. Shirley Strawberry, who's Ernesto Williams' wife, works for Steve Harvey. So we can assume sometime throughout the course of the 8-9-year marriage, there has been engagement and interactions between Ernesto and Steve Harvey. Okay, that's general. That's vague. There's not much there. Let's get into the thick of things, and I'm only going to be here for a few seconds. By listening to the calls and the exchanges between Ernesto and Shirley, it was very clear to me that Ernesto actually respects the likes of a Steve Harvey and was very careful regarding his feedback, his reaction to Shirley when Shirley would share what Steve had said, told her, or you know, what he had said, told her, or advised her to do. I feel like Ernesto, if he could, and the reason why, he's scamming and he's fraudulent and he's a thief and he's a crook and a mastermind of wrongdoing because he wishes he could be a man with the financial power of a Steve Harvey. That's where he aims to be. But see, like my grandma say, baby, what goes on in the dark will always come to light. And you'll never be that because that comes by way of hard work, grit, elbow grease, sweat, tears, doubt, fears, confusion, all of that stuff as you build and climb your way to the success, right? Narcissists, they ain't got time for that. They ain't got time to be trying to work that hard. They need it quick, they need it easy, and they need it fast. And I also feel like it was important to Ernesto that Steve did not see him as guilty. Because at one point, Shirley was saying, Steve told me just maybe, move back to LA or, something about the storage. He goes, okay. So I guess he's saying I'm guilty. She said, that's not what he said. He's just telling me what to do. He's like, oh, okay, right. So although a crook, although a criminal, this Negro still values the opinion of others that he considers to be superior financially. So it's important to him that the likes of a Steve Harvey would still deem him acceptable, because he became real concerned when he was under the impression that Steve had cast judgment on him regarding his criminal behavior and his criminal activities. Let's move on. I want to transition to the dynamics between Ernesto and his mistress, Sonia. Oh, yeah, this is going to be good. Now, my commentary will be more centered on Sonia and her relationship with herself and how that impacts or caused her to become in relationship with the married man. Woo! Let's pause for a second because we're about to go deep. I want to talk about broken woman. There are some women that are so battered, bruised, broken, empty emotionally that they will destroy you because they feel like they've been destroyed to the point of no return. When a woman allows herself to be diminished to only her tits and her vagina, you're not dealing with the person that has a full deck. Now, I don't know how this woman looks, but based on the compliments that Ernesto granted her, it seems to be a probability that she's very attractive. He kept saying, damn, you're a beautiful ass woman. Damn, you're a pretty ass woman. And I know you can have any man that you want. And you chose me. And thank you for letting me get at them titties first. And, I'm not just with you because you got good pussy. Let's keep it real, y'all. We're all adults. I'm not with you just because you got good pussy, but that motherfucker show was good. And I can't wait for you. He told her, oil it up. Get it ready for me. Get that fucking good and ready for me. Which tells me he's extremely attracted to this woman physically. Nothing else. Physically. So I don't give a damn how beautiful you think you are, Sonia. It sounds like the men that have come and gone your way see you as nothing but a sexual encounter. And after that, they dust their hands off and they're gone. Because Ernesto did not. I do not recall him pouring out his heart to her. She poured out her heart to him. Okay? And I wouldn't be shocked, nor would I be surprised if there are some daddy issues there. Because it seems like shortly after they slept together, she told him, you all in my head. And normally I can deal with a man in a way where, it's high and by. And when we done, and it's on to the next. So this is what I'm gathering is there's been a lot of sexual activity in her life. Many, if not numerous, sexual partners, casual sexual partners. And she's become accustomed to a dark and street lifestyle. Now, she did say it's important to her that any man that she messes with has to be good looking. That was the only hard requirement, and it was the most important one. She didn't say God-fearing. She didn't say money. She didn't say anything else. And we know money's not important because if it were, she wouldn't be poor. Okay? Because there's a lot of women that rent out their boxes and they get paid for it. But she made it very clear in some of those tapes that I'm poor. So don't look to me for nothing. So this woman has given herself away to the notion that she's good for nothing. And that's a hell of a place to be as a woman, because women like that are not only no good for themselves, they're no good for their children. They're no good for your sons. They are just no good until they get the healing, the cleansing, the transformation that they desperately need. And women like that, you cannot convince me they don't sit alone at night and cry, heartfelt cries. So They also don't hesitate to destroy another woman's life by sleeping with her husband. Now, she told herself, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be with you because you're not available. But she slept with him. She slept with him within a 48-hour period of meeting him. And guess what the requirement was in exchange for sex? Food. Y'all, let me move on. Because when we think about Maslow's hierarchy of psychology, food is psychological safety. And if all it takes is food for you to give your whole self away, to open your legs to a man you hardly know and give him everything you got in that moment, your mind, your body, your soul, your spirit, y'all, that's rock bottom. If that ain't rock bottom, I don't know what is. But here's the plot twist. She ain't the only one. She won't be the first one. So be careful what you pour into these little girls as you're raising them, because if it's the wrong mixture, if it's the wrong upbringing, this is the outcome. In exchange for food, meaning psychological safety, and I'm not even just talking about literally actual food, but in exchange for psychological safety, I will literally throw myself on the cross for you. And I don't even know you. And if that means going to prison for you, come what may. If that means standing in a gap for you and just coming second place, come what may. If that means I come up short, come what may, because at least I get a phone call from you from prison. And that makes me feel good. Y'all, we in trouble. We're in trouble. But I got to move on. I got to move on to the next dynamics. Let's go to Shirley Strawberry and Ernesto. Shirley. Steve Harvey was right. You too old for this. You too old for this. And it ain't nothing like being an old fool, because you've gone through life and you don't have to have been married to understand the rights and the wrongs. You are a woman of a different caliber. Let's just start by way of education. We'll pause there. Number 2, income. Number 3, status. Number 4, notoriety. Number 5, popularity. Number 6, number 7, number 8, you know better. And when you know better, you do better. And Steve told you, you too old. He said to lose what you got. But I think what he meant is you too old to be doing bullshit like this. You too old to be acting like a damn teenager, goddamn teenager in love, risking it all for a piece of man that may put his hands on you. And I'm not talking about physical, I'm talking about sexually every now and then, because based on those calls, I don't believe Ernesto desires her physically. Oh no, that ain't what she's there for. And you let this man drag you to hell and back in a handbasket. That, I don't know how much slack I can cut you when it comes to that. And although I'm not blaming her, what I'm doing is holding her accountable to say, you know damn well better. Okay? And my other question is, how did you get here, Shirley Strawberry? Because I feel like you had every opportunity to run, to leave. What about the first eviction, girl? When y'all got put out behind $30,000? Why must we learn so hard? Why must we learn so hard? You could have chunked a deuce then, okay? The first eviction, $30,000 that y'all owe those people. And that's wrong in and of itself, y'all, because those are somebody's properties. And when you don't pay your rent in the amount of $30,000 plus, as we go through the lineup of the 5 evictions, you are causing somebody's mortgage to go into default. Y'all, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of victims here from all of this damn foolery that I feel like now, since I've heard the tapes, that Shirley has willingly participated in. I just, that's a lot to consider. Surely you were willing to sacrifice your relationship with your child for this man. And here's the crazy part about it. He ain't about to sacrifice his relationship with his mistress or his children for you. I hope you listen to every tape and see that you were a prodigal. You know how they say the prodigal son? No, you were a prodigal woman. And I don't know if you've come back or returned home to yourself, but woman, free yourself. It's almost like you were in a psychotic trance behind this man. You didn't believe your daughter. You didn't issue an apology to your daughter, your grandkids, the pets, whatever the hell he's done, because they say, not even they say, it's a fact. I saw that he's being accused of child pornography. Whose children? Random children? Your grandchildren, Shirley? And that wasn't enough to stop you from moving forward with this man. Did you ever consider if it were your grandchildren, the same ones that you were complaining about your daughter not allowing you to see? Why should she? If it's them, allegedly, and if you didn't believe her. Nah, you wouldn't be seeing my kids neither. And then you were mad, Shirley, because the women in your life had set boundaries when it came to you and your man, and they told you, you can live with them temporarily, but he is not welcome in their home. Girl, what's wrong with you? You almost 70 years old. They don't have to house a grown ass man. You have 5 chances at a nice house. And y'all didn't pay them people. And now you want your friends, your daughter, and those close to you to put their shit on the line for this crook? No. Nobody owes you anything when it comes to him. That's not their blood relative. And I really, just the fact, the dynamic. So I do believe Shirley accepted less than. She settled. I don't think she got what she needed out of this marriage, but I think she was okay with that. I think she was going to ride till the wheels fell off. But the pressure forced her out. Okay? The pressure forced her out. I believe that Shirley's hand was forced in all of this. I believe that if Shirley doesn't clean up her life, that if Shirley doesn't get herself in some good ass therapy, that Shirley is more than likely to repeat the same mistake. I think Shirley has a fear of growing old and being alone by herself. But Shirley, I think you have bigger fish to fry, because it's being alleged that you're at a point now where you say you don't have money. Your devotion, your loyalty to this man has caused you to be in a position where you don't even have money to pay for a pair of shoes. Girl, we got blue collar workers that can afford a pair of shoes. So what is it about you that you've gotten yourself in a position and you've allowed this man to empty you out, that you can't buy a pair of shoes, y'all? Another form of psychological safety, right? When we think about shoes on your feet, a roof over your head, food in your belly, lights in your home. You don't have a home. You have allowed this man, all of these women, to come in and rip up, deconstruct the psychological safety that they had in their lives prior to meeting him. And that's my dynamics, and that's my assessment on what I have between Shirley Strawberry and her husband, Ernesto. Last but not least, I want to cover Shirley's relationship with her friends and her family. Listen, let me ask y'all something. If you were the friends, TT, Tan, Treya, who all them people she was talking about, would you let bygones be bygones? And would you still carry on with the friendship? That's the first question. If so, would things ever be the same? Or would you be able to pick up where you left off as if nothing has ever happened, because you understand you're going to give grace? Where would you be in all of this if you were one of those friends that she was talking about on those tapes? She accused one of the friends, y'all. Me and my friend were talking about it last night. I said, girl, I hope her friends are going to be shocked when they hear these tapes of Shirley accusing them of being jealous of her. And Shirley went as far to say one of them wants Ernesto. And I noticed when she claimed that the woman wanted him, he didn't correct her. He didn't say, nah, I don't want her, or she don't want me. He didn't say shit. He just listened. Ain't no telling, girl. But I don't think any of your relationships will ever be the same, Shirley. I don't think so. I think what happened is classic narcissism, that Ernesto pulled over you. He isolated you. He alienated you from your friends and your family, and he got you to turn against them very, very, very strategically. Okay. To turn against them. And he said, I was telling you, you shouldn't be friends, but what can I do? You're a grown woman. So I just go along to get along, and I'm respectful to them because you're my wife. He knew what he was doing. He planted those seeds of doubts in your head regarding those women that have been in your life for years, way before you met him. And at the end of the day, you're going to have a lot of work to do. I don't know how your life is going to turn out. I think if you repent, I think if you get up, you dust yourself off, and if you really look at yourself in the mirror and have a grown-ass woman conversation with yourself, you issue the appropriate apologies to those around you that you've hurt, those around you that you've abandoned, neglected, did not believe, and those around you that you have insulted because of him. I think you'll be okay. I think you're going to have to build and start from scratch. I think it's going to be the scariest task of your life. And I actually think if you haven't already, you will have to hit rock bottom in order to really get it. Because I don't think you get it yet. You can't get it yet. You haven't lost enough. You were okay losing what you lost if you could keep that man. Now you got to lose outside of that man to understand the impact of being a foolish woman so that you will never, ever repeat the same mistakes again. Otherwise, I believe there's a strong likelihood you could find yourself back in the same situation again, if not with Ernesto and taking him back, then with another man. That's all I got. What are your thoughts? Let's take it to the chat.